When thoughts roam freely, ideas interweave. When new connections are forged, innovation is unleashed. The more technologies become interconnected, the more possibilities emerge, and the more customers expect. And when customers expect more, faster, you need to adapt quicker. You need to empower them with personalized experiences across all channels. Behind the scenes, APIs are the unsung heroes, integrating systems, unifying data, and enabling all the connected experiences we've come to rely on. With the combined power of MuleSoft and Salesforce, customers can connect anything and change everything. Because when it all comes together in a memorable human experience, that's when the future has finally arrived.
Please welcome to the stage Kuntal Vahalia.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us. We are so very honored to have all of you here at the first ever TrailheaDX. This morning at the keynote, we heard about continuous innovation with Salesforce Customer 360, which is our vision for bringing companies and the customers together. We also heard from brands like Seat, Redbus, Costa, on how they're able to predict customer expectations and deliver a highly personalized and connected experiences. This afternoon, we want to continue that conversation. We want to talk specifically about the roles of APIs and integration in helping us unleash the full power of Salesforce Customer 360. But before I do, a very sincere thank you to this amazing community of Integration Trailblazers, both here in the room as well as all over India. We are so honored to have you here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for all that you do for us day in, day out. In fact, India has a very special place in our hearts because when you think about MuleSoft, it requires a very special breed of technical talent. And about 60% of our technical ecosystem resides in India. So we owe a massive thank you for your commitment, in building your career with MuleSoft, as well as your commitment in driving mutual customer success. I'll also take this opportunity to recognize some of our MuleSoft community leaders who have been phenomenal in not just blazing their own trails, but helping a lot of other people blaze their integration trails. We have with us here in the room Gaurav Shetty from CSG, Vasant Rai from Atlassian. We have Prithviraj Singh from Cognizant, and Ashakta from Apicero. Thank you for everything you guys do for us. Look, the world is changing, and we have a customer revolution underway. And the catalyst for the change today is today's customer. Today's customer expects a highly connected, highly integrated, highly personalized set of products, services, and experiences to meet them where they are, know who they are, and span every channel. I'll give you one example. I have an electric car parked in San Francisco about 15,000 miles away from here. But I can connect to that car right from the stage using my mobile phone. And I can run a lot of operations on that car. I can unlock the car, charge, or stop the charging on the car. I can track the location of the car. That's the level of connected experiences today's customer expects. And that demand for connected experience is not just limited to one specific industry. Every company and in every industry is feeling the pressure of the digital transformation. Every developer, every IT team, every technical resource in the project is feeling the same pressure to go faster, be more agile, and innovate at scale that we haven't seen before, right? And what happens here is it requires a little bit of a different operating model to go faster and drive that innovation at scale. But the question here is, if the demand for these connected experiences are so pervasive, And we heard Srini talk about it as well this morning. Building those connected experiences is not easy. It was right there in the morning keynote. So if the demand for those connected experiences are so pervasive, why are most of our apps and experiences so fragmented, right? Because let's face it, the customer expectations are still not being met. Data, which is our gold currency in today's digital world, is very disconnected from the customers, the partners, and the employee systems, and it's very hard to go build some of those integrations. In fact, some of the studies suggest that integrating systems and unlocking data are too often #1 reasons why a lot of new initiatives fail. But here's the good news. Over the next 45 minutes, we want to talk about how to make that hard problem of creating connected experiences easy, at least easier to the extent we can. We want to talk about 3 main things. First, we want to talk about how can we integrate systems and unlock data to create connected experiences faster than ever before using APIs. Second, how can we use the power of APIs to empower the entire organization to innovate at scale? Doesn't matter what your role is. And the third piece to this puzzle is how do we take that innovation beyond the 4 walls of our organization and get the whole ecosystem involved. We really believe that MuleSoft and Salesforce are uniquely positioned to deliver on this vision of Salesforce Customer 360 and help you guys create those connected experiences faster. So let's unpack this. Let's unpack how we can do this faster. And to get the party started, I'd like to invite on stage Kevin Balaji, Product Marketing Manager, MuleSoft, all the way from San Francisco.
Thank you, Kuntal. I'm from San Francisco, what many consider to be the tech hub of the world. And I agree, it's a great place. But as Kuntal mentioned, so much of the magic happens right here in Bangalore, in India. And that's why I am so excited and so honored to be a part of the very first TrailheaDX here in India. Salesforce Customer 360 powers the connected experiences that your customers demand. And MuleSoft is central to that solution, to make them connected. Our developers tell us that integration is critical to their success. Now, many of you probably have used tools within the Salesforce platform for integration. You might have used platform events, Salesforce Connect, Heroku, and you use those tools to mainly unlock your Salesforce data. And yet developers still tell us, integration can be hard. It can be slow. As a matter of fact, too often, poor integration is the #1 reason that new initiatives fail. We're trying to build these experiences faster and faster, and that's driving a need for a more strategic approach to integration. And to understand that strategic approach, we first have to understand what makes integration so hard in the first place. To start, your data naturally lives across several different systems, and the connected experiences that you're trying to build has to leverage all of this data across all of these systems. For example, did you know that the average business transaction spans over 35 different systems and applications? Just one transaction. So what that means is you, as a developer, need to find a way to integrate each and every one of these 35 or more systems. That's at the heart of the problem. But it's only one dimension to it. The other dimension is just the sheer number of systems used by companies. MuleSoft did a benchmark report, and we found that the average enterprise has over 1,000 different systems and applications. 2/3 of those are not even connected yet. Your own architectures probably look something like this, but multiplied several times over. Am I right about that? Right? And then there's the third problem, the sneakiest problem. How do you integrate? See, as developers, and I was a developer not so long ago myself, we're getting more and more projects slammed on our desk day after day. And we need a way to go faster. And when we're trying to go faster, typically, what do? We write custom code. Custom code, too often, seems like the fastest and easiest path to resolution, especially when it's just a couple of systems here and there that we're trying to connect. But the reality is the opposite. With the traditional approach to integration, you're writing custom code to connect each and every individual system together. And remember the benchmark report. Just one transaction crosses more than 35 systems. So that's why we say the traditional approach to integration slows you down. Why is that? For one, it's brittle. You're writing lines and lines of code. It's hard to find that one little needle in the haystack of code that you've written that's actually causing you trouble to go and fix it. It's a bottleneck. The person that wrote the custom code is the only one that knows about it. It's hard for them to teach anybody else in their organization, and so it becomes a bottleneck for innovation. And finally, it's rigid. Again, it took you so long to write all of that code. When it's time to change implementation, change architectural patterns, you have to, at best, go back and modify, and at worst, you're rewriting everything all over again. So when we consider all these factors, it's no wonder that we say the traditional approach to integration can't keep up. So we need another way. What's another way? And that's where APIs are the game changer. So many of you probably have used APIs before. You might have used Salesforce APIs to connect to Salesforce. Maybe you've used Salesforce Connect to map to an external service. But did you know that you can write your own APIs to expose your own business's capabilities? Let's take a very quick example. Google has a business capability called Google Maps, and developers all over the world want access to that capability. So what did Google do? They wrote an API. And with that API in place, the Maps functionality acts like a Lego block. A developer can pick it up, they know exactly what it looks like, they can easily snap it on to their own projects, their mobile apps, their websites. Now similarly, I bet people come to you all the time asking for access to a new system, access to new functionality, new data. So what if you built your own APIs to expose your own business's capabilities? You can then take those APIs and assemble them together to create the connected experiences that have been taking so long for you to make today. And that's not all. We have our API building blocks, so we've made that first connected experience. We can now reuse those same capabilities and make each and every project subsequently faster. And unlike last time, we're not slowed down because APIs are not brittle, they're resilient. You've encapsulated a lot of the complexity by writing smaller chunks of code. It's much more easier to find your problems. APIs are not a bottleneck, they're a catalyst because they're more easily documented, shared with others, understood by others. And APIs are not rigid, they're flexible because they can be assembled and reassembled with their modular designs to make the connected experiences that have been taking so long. And that's how APIs have changed the integration paradigm. Because we've moved from a world where each project is its own custom effort to a world where we're taking existing capabilities, adding a little bit on top of it, and making each project go faster and faster. With APIs, you're not wasting time rebuilding all the functionality that you've already built out. You're focusing on actual innovation, on that next project. And that's how MuleSoft has become the world's leading platform for APIs and integrations. With MuleSoft, we help you build APIs, integrate your systems, and unlock your data wherever it might reside. You can unify that data to create that single view of the customer so that you might create a single view of the patient, create that unique shopping experience, whatever your use case demands. And most importantly, we help you unlock the full power of Salesforce Customer 360 with APIs that enable connected experiences across sales, service, marketing, and much more. And MuleSoft is central to the latest innovations of Salesforce Customer 360. At Dreamforce, we announced Customer 360 Profile, a single source of truth that takes information across sales, service, marketing, and commerce, and combines it into a single unique global ID. And MuleSoft extends that Customer 360 Profile by allowing you to bring data from any external system into Salesforce, and will help you map and transform that data so that you can extend your Customer 360 Profile. Let's see an example of a customer, BMW, that's used the full power of MuleSoft and Salesforce to do just that. Let's roll the BMW video, please.
Having grown up in Southern Africa, I got my license at the age of 16. And BMW just launched the K100 motorcycle. It was my dream. I've always always wanted to see the use of information technology in a product, and that meant the automotive industry was just perfect to do that. The future vision I have for the IT at BMW is that it's API based, cloud powered, and to develop a joyful customer experience in and outside the car.
BMW is more than 100 years old. It evolved very much, very complex over time.
So imagine the complexity of bringing across a compelling customer experience through 5,000 dealerships times the people working there. For the past 50 years, the dealers have been the single point of contact for our customers. So it is really key to incorporate all of the data into a 360-degree view of our customers. And this is exactly where the strengths of Salesforce and MuleSoft come together. Imagine Emma on her mobile phone. She's considering to buy an i3 and saves the configuration to her garage. Emma enters the dealership. She uses her mobile phone with the QR code from the configuration of the i3. The product genius receives the notification that it is Emma with her configuration.
The journey does not really end at the point when you sign a contract. That's when it really starts. As Emma drives on the road, our systems would actually detect that the tire pressure was going down a little.
So since we have the car integrated with our cloud, the agent can see that who is calling and has a complete picture of the customer and of the car.
The agent would see what the incident was. But he would not only just see that, he would also know how many kilometers or what mileage is on those tires. Maybe they shouldn't be fixed, they should be replaced.
With MuleSoft and Salesforce together, we were much faster in bringing data together, integrating our processes. We can integrate and build APIs 5 times faster than we used to do in the past. And this speed is in sync with what we have in our DNA.
The power of MuleSoft, it's amazing. It allows us to deliver a compelling customer experience.
All right, how great was that? So in that video, we saw BMW IT's vision to use APIs and create the ultimate customer service experience. Now let's see an example of how they might achieve that with MuleSoft and Salesforce. And specifically, we'll talk about how BMW has enabled their teams to self-serve the data they need, use that information to build powerful connected experiences, and engage and share their best practices across the org to accelerate innovation. Before we start the demo, I want to give quick acknowledgement to Mahesh and Arnav, who will be helping us drive the demos today. Thank you, guys. Let's cut to the demo feed, please. We'll do this through the lens of Ashley, a BMW developer who's been tasked with creating this experience. And here she's in Service Cloud, where she sees a case for a customer who's requested an annual i3 service. Now, Ashley here has very basic case information. And so she needs to make sure that there's more vehicle information, such as make and model. And to do that, she has a Lightning Web component that can introduce that vehicle information. Now, the challenge here is that the vehicle information needed is stored across BMW's SAP systems. And Ashley needs integration between SAP and Service Cloud. But she doesn't want to go back to writing custom code. That's been slowing them down. And this has been the blocker to creating this connected experience. Lucky for Ashley, BMW is a MuleSoft customer, and she has access to Anypoint Platform, an integration platform that allows her to unlock her data from wherever it resides. And this includes Anypoint Exchange, which is BMW's integration and API marketplace. So within Exchange, Ashley can find pre-built connectors that connect to common sources, such as SAP, ServiceNow, Workday, and much more. And she can also find pre-built integrations called accelerators that help teams build much faster. And from here, she can go and find pre-built APIs that help her unlock data from wherever it resides. And thanks to Exchange, Ashley is enabled to reuse these APIs and self-serve the data without waiting for access from any other team. And here she finds a vehicle master data API, which was created for another project. So she goes in, and she sees that this API pulls from 4 different BMW SAP repositories. So this looks really promising. This has already been built for her. From here, she can read a bit more about the API methods. So here she goes into the get method and she wants to see what the API actually returns. And as she looks at the data, she thinks this is exactly what she was looking for. So all the hard work has been done for her. She can go ahead and reuse this API. So she goes ahead and copies the URL, and now back in Service Cloud, she just pastes it in, and it should work. So now the days of swivel chairing to different systems by the service agent is over. The reps can retrieve all the relevant vehicle information directly from their case within Service Cloud, and the BMW service team is much happier and more productive. So this is good, but Ashley wants to create a truly differentiated service experience. She wants to bring in more dynamic sensor information, such as tire pressure or battery levels. And that information is in another database. And this would help reps more proactively guide their customers. But she just got this integration working. She doesn't want to go back to writing custom code. But that's where MuleSoft can help. She goes to Anypoint Flow Designer, which is MuleSoft's web-based graphical design environment. And here, she doesn't have to start from scratch. She can reuse the Vehicle Master Data project. And this project is mostly built out. It takes information from SAP, transforms it, and puts it into Service Cloud. And in this case, she just has to add a database connector to the palette. And she'll do that, she'll follow the guided steps, and then select the appropriate credential to connect to the database. And soon the database is going to be connected, and Ashley needs to make sure that she feeds the appropriate sensor information into Service Cloud. And she can do this with the Visual Query Builder. She selects the appropriate database tables and the fields that she's interested in. And then from here, now Ashley needs to make sure that the information coming from SAP and the database is transformed and understood by Service Cloud. Now, this is a very complex step because there's so many fields involved, and Ashley isn't necessarily an expert in SAP data structures or the database tables. However, Flow Designer uses Einstein's recommender algorithms to automatically suggest mappings. So in this case, Ashley previews those mappings, looks like she's happy, and she goes ahead and accepts them. And that's it. The API should automatically update. And now Ashley goes back to Service Cloud and refreshes her dashboard. And now reps can more proactively guide their customers. So in this case, you can see that the front right tire pressure is low. And the service rep can more proactively tell that to their customer while they're scheduling their service. And this is the ultimate service experience that BMW is looking for. And this is just the beginning. Other team members can reuse Ashley's work to surface information in a mobile app, build predictions off of Einstein, or interact with Salesforce Voice. But most importantly, Ashley is confident that any developer within BMW can take on these projects going forward, because the entire BMW team has been enabled to self-serve the data they need, use that information to build powerful connected experiences, and share their best practices across the org, all thanks to the power of MuleSoft and Salesforce. Let's go back to the slides, please. So there you have it. Happier developers, happier service agent, happier BMW, and to help you build these connected experiences even faster. We are excited today to announce MuleSoft accelerators for Service and Commerce Cloud. These accelerators are pre-built integrations and APIs that help you reduce the cost and time to integrate with Salesforce by up to 60%. They're battle-tested, they're ready to go, and they're available for free today on MuleSoft Exchange, so please go ahead and check it out. So we've gone over the importance of APIs, how they can help you build those connected experiences even faster. Now we need to make sure that we can empower all of you to innovate with APIs. So to talk about that, let's bring Kuntal back to the stage. Kuntal?
Thank you, Kevin. How about those accelerators? I mean, every time I've spent time with partners and in the field, you guys have asked us for one thing. Tell us those concrete use cases and examples on how MuleSoft fits within Salesforce. And those accelerators are just that, something you've been asking for all along since our acquisition. So I hope you guys get to use it, give us your feedback on what's working, what's not, and we'll keep adding more to it. Let's continue this conversation. So the second part to this is how do we empower the whole organization using APIs? But before we do, let's pause for a moment. Let's pause for a moment and think about why does it matter? Why does it matter for IT to find a path which is a path forward, which is not dependent on IT delivering end-to-end capabilities and projects all by itself? Why is it so important for IT to unlock innovations at a very different scale? Well, the answer is simple. IT cannot keep up with today's market demand, both from the business as well as from the market. Sorry, can we go back one slide? One more. IT just cannot keep up with today's explosive demand. There is this amazing set of new technologies out in the market. There's AI, IoT, mobile, all of which are powerful enough by itself to spawn a new business model. But when we combine all of them together, there's just this explosive demand on IT that it just cannot keep up. So what happens is there's this ever-increasing delivery gap where IT cannot use its traditional approach of delivering end-to-end capabilities and projects. Good news, with API-led approach, IT does not have to, because APIs are the ultimate accelerator for innovation. APIs make innovation accessible. And as Kevin beautifully articulated in his segment, it's so much easier to compose those experiences using APIs than building it from scratch, right? And think about some of the best apps in the marketplace today. Their experiences are not built from scratch. Their experiences and those features are not built from scratch. They all use APIs, both private as well as public. Let's talk about Uber, for example, and think about the experience Uber gives us. Now, I'm sure half of us came here using Uber. And by the way, kudos to all of you guys for making it here. I mean, this place is like the edge of the world, so far out there. So thank you guys for making it here. But think about the experience Uber has given us. They have a mapping feature. Do we think Uber has created their own mapping functionality? No. They're using Google Maps API. They also have this very seamless payment transaction. Do they have their own payment gateway? Absolutely not. They're going ahead and using Stripe's payment services. Then they also have this SMS notification to tell you how far the car is. Do they have their own SMS engine? Absolutely not. They're using Twilio's SMS service to give us that experience. So what Uber has done is they've accelerated their go-to-market, and they've adopted a new operating model where IT and business can work together to take new products to market much faster, be more agile, and innovate at scale. And in this case, IT's role is very well defined. IT's role here is all about securing, governing, and managing those standard APIs rather than custom code. Okay? And that becomes the operating model for the future. And we want to empower all of you, all businesses, all roles, to innovate in the same fashion. We want IT and business to work together to go solve some of those hard problems. And if we do this together, good things happen. Our study shows that businesses who adopt API-led approach see a 70% increase in productivity. They have higher speed, they move faster, they're a lot more agile and composable, and they can innovate at scale because IT is not the only one delivering capabilities. So if that is the operating model, the logical question is, how do we get everyone ready on that operating model? And that's where we're going to go introduce this concept of Integration Trailblazers, and we commit to building Integration Trailblazers across the organization, across every roles, and across the world. And we're going to do it two different ways. First, we're going to do it using our product. And second, we're going to do it using skills and learning. So stay tuned for this, because there's a lot of new stuff that we're going to introduce here. Let's start with the product. MuleSoft has been on a journey and will continue to invest in making our tools richer for pro coders and developers. That's always been our sweet spot. That's not going to change. We'll continue our journey and investment there. But we've also been talking all morning and all day on how we want to make innovation accessible to everyone. So then, to support that, we are very excited to introduce clicks, not code approach to integration. Today, in Anypoint Platform, you have the updated Flow Designer, which uses the clicks, not code functionality to help you guys build integration, reuse some of the integration, and even build those standardized APIs that could be plugged directly into Salesforce. As you go into next year, we're going to add a lot more to that product, where we think we can have this entire life cycle of integration all the way from design, deployment, build, management, monitoring. All of that can be done through clicks without writing a single line of code. We're also going to help you get started quickly, leveraging our Exchange, which is our API marketplace, where you will see a lot more, a lot new accelerators, connectors, templates to support your use cases and industry playbooks. So that's a big step up for our product organization in making innovation accessible to the broader organization. But we're not going to stop there. We're not going to stop there because great technology is just not enough. Great technology needs to be combined with the right skilling and the right learning. And we are very excited to show our commitment in making sure that we skill the entire world on APIs. And to support that, what we have done is we have taken the best of our API knowledge from about 1,500 customer implementations that we have done so far, and we have put it on Trailhead. And it's available for free. So if you go today on Trailhead, you're going to see this right mix of integration trail mix, where you can understand the basic concepts of API. You can talk about, that's right, this is big. You can APify the entire organization, and you can have both the business and the IT speak that common language of API. And those trail mixes are available on Trailhead today as we speak. And then, if you have a technical bend, and if you want to continue your learning with MuleSoft, please go ahead and take some of our training programs. Just like Trailhead, MuleSoft has its own MuleSoft University, which is a free online program that can be done in a self-service fashion, on your time, online, right? So that's available to you guys as well, for free, as I said. And then the final step here is to climb the summit, which is be an integration architect. Right? So we are committed to getting you guys to that journey, to that summit. And we just read some publications, which was published 2 days back, which talked about MuleSoft Architect being one of the highest in demand, highest paid, and hardest to find. Right? So think about that combination. If you are still sitting on the edge, thinking about where you want to build your career for the next 5 to 10 years, think about this perfect storm where it's the highest paid job, highest in-demand job, and it's hardest to find. But that's the integration architect role, and we are committed to getting you guys on that journey and getting you to that summit. But we will not stop there. We are also committing and pledging 100,000 integration trailblazers over the next 5 years. So think about the number of jobs we're going to create. And as I said before, 60% of our technical ecosystem sits in India. That the gravity of our ecosystem sits in India. So bulk of those jobs and those opportunities in this very high growth system is going to be here in India. And just to give you a little bit more context here, MuleSoft is the fastest growing BU and the cloud within Salesforce portfolio, right? We just hit about $1 billion run rate last month, and we are starting to think about how we're going to get to $5 billion over the next 3 to 4 years. Right? And think about every dollar of software that we sell represents a $4 to $6 worth of services opportunity for all of you, especially the service providers in the room. So that's a tremendous opportunity for all of us together and our customers to go capitalize and build the right skills in the marketplace. And the great news about this is not just MuleSoft's commitment alone. Our partners are joining in this pledge as well. And our partners are committing to skilling up on this MuleSoft integration journey. In fact, 2 of our founding partners, Deloitte and Accenture, are committing to skilling up 5,000 certified resources, MuleSoft practitioners over the next 5 years. Right? That's big. That's the level of commitment we are seeing and we are expecting from all partners in our ecosystem. So we covered a lot of ground here. We talked about the operating model. We talked about empowering the organization using the language of API. And we also talked about what's your learning path in getting skilled. There's one more piece left to this puzzle, which is your ecosystem. How can you combine the power of innovation within your organization and multiply it with the broader ecosystem outside your organization? And to talk more about it, I'd like to invite Vikram Kulkarni on stage, MuleSoft lead India.
Thank you, Kuntal. Good afternoon, all of you. I'm very thankful to Google for one thing, that they gave out these mapping APIs. Otherwise, we would not have Uber, and we didn't know how to come to this place, and neither would we have Swiggy and Zomato that deliver food to our house. So with that, let's talk about the next step here. Innovation and speed. These are things that you have repeatedly heard, either in this conference or any other conversation that you have had with customers. True? But the problem is, every time we talk about innovation and change, or innovation, people want to do it faster. Your customers want to drive more integrated experiences. They want you to go out and have real-time reporting. They want to interconnect systems. They want to give your customers seamless experiences. So we come to this point where, all right, I have all these great, so you heard about how we can do API-led. We heard about our operating model. We heard about creating all these amazing integration trailblazers. What else can we do? If we want to innovate faster, if we want to go at the speed at which our customer and our business is demanding from us, there is another lever. That lever is what we call as the ecosystem that sits outside of your organization, correct? So within your organization, you're building those great APIs, you're making sure people have access to the great services, but beyond that, there exists an ecosystem. These are great developers like yourself. These are partners, various different software vendors. Do you think that if we are able to provide these great APIs and those amazing services that we have built for our internal Trailblazers, can we for a moment think about exposing those APIs and those services to the other great people in these ecosystems? Do you think that will foster innovation? Absolutely. So when we start talking about APIs, we need to change the way we think about integration. We need to think about APIs not as time-bound projects. We need to think of them as products. When you start thinking of APIs as products, what comes to mind? Every product should have a customer. In this case, the customer is you, the developer. Second, it should have a place where you can promote it, right? The business value of this API needs to be communicated to the business users so they can use these APIs to build other things. And the third most important thing, and the reason why we are here, is we need to provide delightful experiences to our developers. If we are able to provide experiences that the developers can look up to and say, hey, these are APIs that I can use. These are things that I want to innovate with. And that's where innovation gets unleashed. So with that, let's think about what exactly is needed. I said a lot of hypothetical things. Think of APIs as products. What exactly does that mean? The first thing that we need to think about is we need to have open standards. What that means is we don't want developers learning new proprietary stuff. This is data, or these are standards that are openly available to you, and anybody can use them, correct? So we need to build things that are based on open standards. The second most important thing is a marketplace. What does a marketplace mean for a product? Just like how you go to an app store, you pick out your favorite app, play with it for some time, maybe you like it, you continue, or you decide to delete it. But what's important in a marketplace is the fact that you're exposing these products to all your customers. And in this case, the customers are the developers, right? So we need to provide them a marketplace where they can experience these products. The third and the fourth most important thing is, yes, they like the API, they like your product, they like the story that you're telling with this product. What else do we need to do? We need to make sure that we onboard them. We need to support them. We need to provide collaboration. We need to make sure that they are comfortable using these APIs and essentially get them on the route of collaboration. It's when all these developers come together that you really see innovation happen. And you'll see that those assets and those APIs that you've built within your organization are now being used by other developers, other partners, and they might be building things that you never even had thought of before, right? So this is the power that we can enable and can foster a new wave in which innovation can be enabled, and this is the second lever. So with this in mind, I'm excited to announce that at the start of this year, we announced the API Community Manager, right? This is a product that's built ground up for the developers. This is a product that allows you to do those three things that I said that we should be doing. One is expose your APIs as products, help you build these things. Second is drive adoption. We are going to provide you access to forums, allow you access to case management, support, all those things that a developer would need to build on using these APIs. And finally, the most important part is the organization that is providing these APIs. How do they manage these developers? Who is coming in? Who are the people who are using my APIs? What exactly are they doing with my API? Right? So all these three things are what we have provided as part of the API community manager. This is built on on the Salesforce Customer 360, along with Community Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and Service Cloud. So with that, let's cut to the video of HSBC, one of our customers who has already implemented this. Video, please.
Growing up back in India, I used to tinker with everything electrical. The exposure to computers came in pretty late for me. When my dad asked me to inventory things in his business, and we spent 3 days counting stuff, I said, why can't we do this better? All we are using is a calculator. And then I begged my dad to buy a computer. So can we get a computer and put everything in there? HSBC is an institution. We've been around for over 150 years, and as the CTO for the company, I focus heavily on the experience that we provide our customers.
Our customers expect to use their bank and their banking services any time of the day, whenever they want. The bank, as we know it traditionally, have become a lot more hidden, whereas the banking services have become more relevant. APIs have democratized banking services so that developers can build amazing applications.
We are building many APIs, and one of the challenges for us was to find the right solution to help build a community around the APIs. When Salesforce and MuleSoft came together, the power of MuleSoft's APIs could just be unlocked. There's one partner that brings us not just the back office solution, but also now the customer-facing solution.
Today, if I'm a developer, I feel like I've got access to the entire banking set of services at the flick of a button on my keyboard.
So today, you don't have to apply for an HSBC mortgage on HSBC. If I'm a developer at an online real estate search platform and I want to provide a seamless property purchase experience, I go into HSBC's open banking portal, look for the right APIs. Once they have access to the APIs, it's easy for them to build journeys that let the customer get a pre-approved amount for mortgages right there on the partner's website. So it's seamless now.
So now the customer is at the center of the ecosystem.
We hope that driving choice just enhances the value of the customer relationship with HSBC, so we can be a partner of confidence.
How great was that video? Who could have thought that HSBC, a traditional bank that is heavily regulated industry, you will be able to actually provide you access to their core banking services? Who could have even thought of that? You can think of a digital native trying to do that, but HSBC doing that, fantastic. And we are very happy to be on this journey with them. So with that, I just want to step into a little bit of a demo. We are going to go back and see all those three things that I spoke about. Exploring an API marketplace, create new API-enabled customer experiences, and how do I manage the health of the API ecosystem. For this, I want you to imagine a company, something like a housing.com or 99acres.com. We are going to call it DreamMove. Okay? So DreamMove is a company that allows you to search for properties and basically provides you search results that you can click on and go buy a nice, beautiful home for yourself. One of the demands for these customers, the customers of DreamMove, has been that they want the ability to actually apply for a loan or a home mortgage right within from the search platform. So for this, we have Lauren, who is one of the product managers. She has been getting this demand from her customers that can we integrate these two things together. And she is really trying to figure out if there is a way of doing this. So she remembers that she received an email from HSBC, and it announced the launch of the API marketplace. So she goes ahead and clicks on that email. Cut to the demo, please. Fantastic. So when she clicks on that email, she lands on this beautiful page that is built on API Community Manager, right? You can see that it is pixel perfect. It is perfectly branded for HSBC. And they have laid out all the various different things that you can do in this ecosystem. They have news announcements. Lauren is like, oh, there is an open banking API that just got released. Fantastic. But what she's really interested in is trying to figure out what are the various different services HSBC can offer to her. So she continues to scroll down, and there she sees products and services. She goes ahead and clicks on products and services. And then she lands on this page that actually lists out all the different APIs that HSBC has under this umbrella. The one that she is really interested in, mortgage. So let's click on mortgage. How many of you remember this screen? This is the screen that we saw in the previous demo as well. So she lands on this beautiful page. It's dynamic content. She tries exploring what the API can do for her. She sees the various different methods. She has get methods, post methods. So as she scrolls through that, she's able to get an understanding of how this API works. What are the parameters that these various methods take? She's interested in one of them, and she clicks on the post method. And what do you see here? You get into details of the API. So for example, if you see, she might be interested in coding this out in JavaScript. And as she sees there, the code samples are already present for her. She can take these code snippets, put it into her POC, and she can start trying out this API. And there on the right-hand side, you see that there is something called as a mocking service. Even without building out an API or the backend, she can actually experience what this API output is going to look like. So having done that, she is really excited, and she's like, yeah, this is the API that I want to use. And she looks up on the top, and she sees a support link. This link actually links back to the HSBC support team that is managing this API ecosystem. If she has further questions, she can always reach out to them. The second most important link there is the community link. Maybe she has 2 new ideas that she needs to try out or talk to somebody about, so she can go and post these on the forum. So that's the community link. She's like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. And she says, I'm going to get started on this. So she lands on the page. Usually, if people who have tried out APIs, this is where things start getting a little difficult, right? You got the API. What do I do next? That's the question that is always left unanswered. But as you can see here, a step-by-step approach has been laid out for the developer. Right from getting an API sandbox key, all the way till launch, everything is laid out for her. And Lauren is like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. She grabs hold of a couple of the Trailblazers that she has in her company, and magic happens. And there you have the new website, right? So as you can see here, HSBC API is now directly integrated into the search results. So what did this do to DreamMove as a partner? It has created an experience for their customers where they can actually apply for a home loan right from the search result. So their customers are very happy. What has this done for HSBC? For HSBC, you have created a new revenue channel that did not exist before. So if they had not publicized this API outside, you would not have DreamMove, and you would not have the second revenue channel. And the most important part, the customer is very happy. He's got the seamless integrated experience that he was looking for. So these were the first 2 parts of the community that we were talking about. The third most important part is, how is this all managed? So with that, we swipe back into what we call as our command center, right? This is familiar to a lot of you, right? Built on Community Cloud, you can see all the great developers that have come into my space. You have various different engagement scores. And the most important part is at the bottom, you have what we call as actions. So the admin for this page knows exactly how many developers are coming in, what are the demands of these developers, are there forum posts that need to be answered, are there new API products that need to be announced. So with that, we are interested in finding out what the developers are doing with our APIs, and we go ahead and click on that. How many of you recognize this screen? Few of you? Come on. This is your domain, guys. Right? So on this side of the screen, you have the various segmentation. Where are the developers coming from? And on the other side, you have what we call as a prospect channel, or a funnel, right? A prospect funnel is used to convert your prospects into customers. And at the start of my presentation, I said, we are going to treat developers as our customers, right? So you see about 1,200 people have come to the site. They have started doing a little bit work on the APIs. And as the funnel progresses, you have the bottommost piece where developers have actually used those APIs and they have built apps. Now, this is the segment that you really want to focus on because they're doing something with those APIs. So let's go ahead and click on that. And as expected, you'll see that the average API traffic, engagement scores are fantastic for this. And who's on the top? Our product manager from Dreammove. So let's go ahead and figure out what else she has done with our APIs. Yeah. So this is the detailed page for Lauren. Think about it. We took a regular prospect who came to our website, figured out what the API was, and today we are able to get actionable intelligence on what this person is doing. We see that she has developed 4 different apps. Now, this is amazing information to the product managers inside of HSBC, because they can think about what else we can do. How do we package up these APIs so more developers come and use these APIs? And we have a little bit of AI, ML magic on the right-hand side, and we have Einstein. Einstein tells us that please onboard her as a champion. She is an influencer. Her engagement scores are so high, she can be out there in the community actually building a brand for you. So we go ahead and click on that, and we add her to the Dev Champion program. And we have sparkles. Who would have expected that you see sparkles in an integration keynote? We are supposed to be boring, guys. Come on, clap. Right? All right. So let's get back to the slide. All right. So I think we went over each one of these, right? We saw how HSBC created a marketplace. We saw how they have created new experiences. And these are really partners who are coming in, using their API products and building something out. And finally, we showed you a way in which all these developers can be managed. Right? These are your customers who are coming in using your API products. So what do you think? Did we cover this? The Salesforce Customer 360, right? This is all powered by MuleSoft and the platform. And we are now able to actually go out there and unleash innovation. With the API Community Manager, you can see how assets that you held within your organization can be exposed. You have great developers who can come and build amazing different products. So with that, I hand it back to Kuntal. Thank you so much.
Vikram. I know we covered a lot of ground here. I'll just close with a couple of thoughts here. One is, I hope you have seen that MuleSoft and Salesforce together can unleash this new era of innovation using APIs as the building block. We are uniquely positioned to go build those connected experiences faster than ever before, be more agile, and help everyone innovate at scale. What this also represents is a $750 billion market opportunity annually, right? So this is, I want that to sink in for a second, because this is an absolutely high growth, high demand space right now, where customers are really itching to stay competitive, and this is where a lot of the spend is happening. So what's next, right? For us, the real big thing, sorry, a slide back. So what's next? One is, we just covered a little bit of the basics here. There's a lot more to learn, so please find us at the expo outside. We are here both days. Please go on Trailhead. Start skilling up. Go on MuleSoft University. Take some of our fundamental programs. But most important to me is, if you were to go back to work on Monday and pick up the next project, I would love to see if you were to build that project using APIs versus custom code. And last, please get certified. That is your currency. That is your differentiation. And we are very invested in your success. Thank you for joining us. I hope you guys have a wonderful TDX.